Hello, I thought I would do something different because I have had an ace time doing this, and I think it's going to be where I'm going to be putting my time from now on. I'm going to give up racing. Well, maybe not completely give it up. However, I think time trialing is what has always really appealed to me. I mean, I got into motorsport from kind of rallying and enjoying the rallying side of things, but I find the constant going around the track quite nice. May have mentioned before, I mean, I've got ADHD and autistic, blah 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 blah, and so I do this to kind of just give my mind a rest. Most people do it just for something exciting to do. I do it just to chill my brain out a wee bit. But so the kind of repetitiveness of going round and round and round a track, just trying to scrape off a tenth here and there, is what really appeals to me. So time attacks, time trials, it seems to be the thing. And I've only just found out, I mean, quite new to iRacing, that they have all that already on there set up. So just delved a little bit deeper, and I mean, I don't know how many of you know, I don't know how, I mean, it's been around for years, that there is a difference between the time attacks and the time trials on iRacing, or maybe you didn't know there was either. They're quite well hidden away, really. So it's just a video just to kind of go through the bits, the difference between a time attack, a time trial, where you can find them, where you can find your results, and a few other places as well where you can kind of do your time trials and your time attacks. So here we are, the main screen for iRacing. So essentially you've got the time attack there, which is changes every season, and you can just pick whatever it is you want to do. It seems to match up with what the actual full races are in each of the kind of seasons anyway. So you've got it down there. See, I've had a couple of them there. I've recently just done the Tsukuba circuit, and I think I got the 4th fastest time ever. So starting to get into the swing of things. I got like a 96, 97% or whatever it is. But these, I mean, there we are. So where we go, Laguna Seca, 34 fast. I don't know why it displays your name going down there, but I've messed around with it and I can't change it. It's actually viewed better. We'll go on to that a bit later in the actual iRacing members website. So, but either way, this is your time attack. It's just showing you where you are, who's first, and it is just, you can just bang out lap after lap after lap. And I tend to use it now for my practice, because it doesn't matter if you crash, you go off, or whatever it is, it doesn't affect your iRating or any score whatsoever. So you can at least get an idea of, even if you're racing, and you may have seen my other video on how to practice for racing, that this will at least give you an idea of where you are at. So kind of 84.3% there. So I am quicker than 84.3% of the people that have done this, which leaves me in 32nd place out of, I don't know how many, quite a few. It seems to stop there. But if you go onto the actual iRacing members site, which I'll show you later, it gives you a lot more information. So either way, that's not a bad time, not the best time, but it is what it is. So there we are. So that is your kind of your time attack screen. You can whiz across on the top right hand side, drop down menu, and you can go through every single time attack event, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's your time attack. So you just do that for a bit of fun, just to see where you are. This, however, is your time trial. Now this is where you can boost or lose your iRating. I mean, a lot of people know about this because they tend to do this just to get their safety rating up, so on and so forth. But anyway, it runs weekly like all the races do. So I've managed to miss the first round this season. Although I'm top of the league at the moment, I missed the first round, but I've done very well in the second and third. And as I say, Tsukuba, I've just set one of the fastest times ever around the track, so I'm hoping I'm going to do okay with that. But this is essentially all your details here. So there's your normal racing, blah 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 blah. That's what everyone sees. That's setting if you're going to go and do a race. But if you want to see your results, however, for your time trial, I say not time attack. Time attack is what we were talking about earlier. Time trial is kind of the official bit that you're doing. So you got your time trial there. So if I'm going to go race Alton Park, which I did, I can click on that. I go to my time trial instead. So it sets it all up for you. You don't have to mess around with time or days or anything else like that. Give you all the gubbins there. So get rid of that, continue. And so you'd sign up like you would do a race. So you've just gone into your race setting. Instead of clicking on race, you've pressed the drop down menu and you've clicked time trial. So I'm the only dude doing it at the moment. Loads up like a race. Everything's the same. I don't know. Does iRacing always take this bloody long to load? It's like slow as a week in jail. I know my internet here, it's probably the noise you can hear in the background. We're actually having decent internet put in on the farm. The guys have laid bloody miles upon miles of cable just to run us onto like proper broadband. Because at the moment, I think we're running at about 15 megabytes download and about 2 upload, so it's horrendous. So anyway, the only difference is that you've got on your little black box there, we're zoomed in, so I've set that on the run. And it has best of 6, last 6, best, last current, blah, 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 all very straightforward. But what you're looking at is that it's asking you to do 6 consecutive laps. So you're not just bashing out, like in the time attack, where you just got to get that one good lap. On this track at Alton Park, you've got to do your best 6 laps. So you could be 10 laps in and you've already done your first 6 laps there, but you can keep going and it will just take your last 6 laps and combine them and give you an average. So it's a bit more trickier than just getting that one perfect lap. So you could be doing your 5 laps and you've gone in at say a 130 on each of them, and then on the last lap you get a 136 because you overdone it, you overcooked it, and then that'll bring your average score up higher, so you'll be slower overall. So your average, sorry, not your average score, your average time up higher, and then essentially you'll be a lot slower. Yeah, so if that's the case, you've got to do another 6 more laps after that and not have that mistake. So you are still quite a skill to do. I mean, even during this 6 laps that I managed to do, I got an extremely quick one-off lap, and all the rest were like 800ths off. So you've gone and smashed out like one really fast lap, which would have been really good in the time attack, and that would have pushed me up a lot higher in the time attack. But because I had to add the other 5 laps to it, it come back down again, so the time was a lot longer. But each track differs. Alton Park, obviously 6 laps. I think Laguna Seca was 4 clean laps, so obviously the bigger the track, the less laps you'll do. Obviously the shorter the track, the more laps you'll do. So here we are on the old iRacing jobby. And just to find, it's a bit better to find your results in here. It works out a lot better than the actual the UI, the main screen that you might log into. So it's just a case of finding the current series of what it is you're looking for. Just making sure, looking across my folders at the top there, there's nothing dodgy. No, we're good. Not that I illegally download anything, I promise. So we're clicking on, because I'm doing the MX5, we click on the old MX5 and it gives you here just your normal season standing. So this is for your racing. I'm in Division 4 at the moment. I presume that must be by my iRating or whatever that chooses. So all you got to do is click on the red banner there with the arrow and it brings you up your time trial results. So I've only managed 2 races out of 3 and I'm in 2nd place. There we are. You can mess around with your divisions, you can choose your last race. So there we are, 137. I think that was Laguna Seca. So I was 3rd quickest out of Division 4. In Division 4, so they've got full standings and everything else there. So it's all there. It's much easier to see there, as you can see. So there's season 4 time trial. I'm actually top now, I think, after the last one. And that's overall. So what am I, 18th out of everybody that's done it? But I missed the first race, so I probably, hopefully, would have been a bit higher than that. So yeah, so it's all there on the Iracing members page, much more clearer. So that was my overall, I think, for Laguna Seca, with people that are like been on it much longer than me, so on and so forth. So yeah, all your gubbins are there. Also worth mentioning, not just on iRacing, I quite enjoy doing this, a World Sim series there. It can also do time attack in it. Currently doing that beast there, the old Evo time attack car around Dunsfold, the Top Gear test track. But it just gives you an idea of what else there is to do. There's whole loads of things there. So I think my next thing might be the Isle of Man. I've raced on it quite a bit on the old Isle of Man TT game, so I've got a rough idea how the track's laid out, and I've got a good chance, I think, with that. And I've only just come off this, I've just given it a go, and it works brilliantly. Really, really good, really straightforward. You just download the app and it runs in the background. You just join your event through all this, so you press join event and it just takes care of the rest. You just got to make sure that either Content Manager or Assetto Corsa or ACC is running, and it just takes you straight through and literally talks you through it. So yeah, at the moment there's me Mitzi Lancer time attack, and I'm well off the pace on this, but I'm not really done anything like this on Assetto Corsa. I think I got like a 101, and I think the fastest times are 56. But you can mess around with the cars and set them up and so on and so forth, but which I haven't done. So either way, just give you an idea. So you use your time attack. Again, it talks you all through it. It's not rocket science, but it is another thing that you can do if you're into your time trials. I like to say things like hill climbing that always interested me. I was always going to go into hill climbing. That was always my thing to do. And again, it's just, if you've got enough money and you can make the best car, you're going to win, and I haven't got the money. So it's always a bit of an unfair, but that's motorsport. It's motorsport in general. But things I think I enjoy doing online now is the fact that, bearing in mind that everyone's on a level playing field of sorts. So you might not have to set the cars up better than somebody else or whatever, that doesn't matter, but you're all sat on the same game in the same conditions. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire or you're poor and you've got your I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean. You've not got the tools that someone else can afford, because 9 times out of 10 it doesn't matter. I still whip people on my cheapy setup on my cheapy computer. It don't matter. But that's the World Sim series there. So yeah, I'm sure there's others out there, other time trial bits and pieces, but the iRacing and the World Sim series seem to be like the two easiest things just to jump into and enjoy. There's no pressure. And I think the biggest thing for me for choosing the time trials is that, because of the way my brain works, I'm not very good with competition. In real life racing, that's where I fell apart. I got so nervous. I know people get nervous, but I got so nervous that I couldn't do it. If I was like I'm doing the time trial, well, there's no worries there. I do reasonably well. There's no pressure. I just do what I do. Now, if I could have just taken that into the races, I'd have a blooming good chance. And through karting, through anything else in real life, I just got into a mess, because just the way my brain works, I just cannot do it. Once the pressure's on me, I just fall apart. And so time trial is ideal for that. Also, you haven't got to worry about being smashed off the track or anything else. You haven't got to I find it difficult to do things at certain times. So if I can't race, I know most of the races are every hour and I race, but if I can't do that, and I've not got the time because I've got 3 kids, I've got a puppy, I've got a house, a full-time job, I've got everything else, looking after cars, going out, blah, 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 I could just jump on for an hour and just do some time trialing. I'm still competing, but there's no pressure. I can do it when I want, and it just works out really, really well. So it's well worth looking into. It might be a different way of doing things for you if you're kind of getting fed up of getting kind of smashed off on the track and everything else. So yeah, it's definitely worth a look into. Alright guys, I'll catch you next time.